So before I do this Q&A, I want to talk about something real quick. I just received a message from Max Gentleman 1, the author, the fanfiction author I kind of work with now and again, and I did a video posting about that he had committed suicide. Today, I did receive a message saying that he is alive. He is still alive. He did try to commit suicide, but he was unable to, and he'd spent the previous week in the hospital, recovering. So I'm glad he's alive. I'm really glad. But I thought he died. That was not cool. But I'm glad he's alive. I've never felt this weird combination of relief and rage at the same time. But, long story short, I'm glad he's alive. So, thank God for that, That's all I can do. Thank God for that, But anyway, let's go to the Q&A. As always, if I didn't answer someone's question, that usually means YouTube is being a dick. You guys know the spiel. So, anyway, let's kick things off with Shank X, who asks, which villain has had the best design so far? I gotta say, some of the best designed villains are Dark Cupid. I would say Dark Cupid's a well-designed villain. Almost said video for some reason. Reflecto was an interesting one. Although I will admit, it looks like a Lady Gaga character. Like something she would dress up as. What else would I like? What else villain costumes did I like? Roger Cop was one. And, Mr. Mime? Nah, Mr. Mime was too generic. I don't know, the Dark Cupid kind of jumps out to me, and, that one specifically. But anyway, second question. What's your opinion on most of the villains being good people, but their power corrupts from them? I think it's really cool. I'm interested at what does the French government do with all these superpowered beings, and when they suddenly get de-evilized, it's like, do we still blame them, or what? I want to see, the fallout of that. Because you've had so many people become supervillains, and then they no longer become, they stop being supervillains, they're by Ladybug and Cat Noir. I want to see at least the fallout of one of these one day, where it's just like, no, you were turned into a villain. What's to stop us from, seeing that happen all over again? Maybe they'll do that in Season 2. Who knows? Third question. Do you think Timebreaker and Pharaoh's family have time-warping abilities and will come back with their ancestor being a time traveler? That's actually really cool, because if those remember the episode Timebreaker, when Alex, Timebreaker, got her watch from her father, he talked about how her great-grandfather was ahead of his time, and it almost sounds like something out of the future, so could it be something we see in the future? I hope so. A family of time travelers? Yeah. Anyway, so thank you for that. So thank you, Shank X. Moving on now to Vocal. Hope I'm saying that name right. I really do. I feel like I butchered that, so I apologize. But Vocal asks, what is a crossover you would like to see? Spider-Man and Ladybug? Yeah, Spider-Man and Ladybug would be probably the biggest one for me. Second one would be Danny Phantom and Ladybug. And I guess Sailor Moon and Ladybug would be fun. But yeah, first and foremost, Spider-Man and Ladybug. Anyway, so thank you for that question. Moving on now to Nolan Uno, who asks, Ladybug meets Kid Goku, what happens? Ladybug learns the Kamehameha, which was your second question. Ladybug learns to do the Kamehameha. What does she do with it, and how screwed are the villains? Pretty screwed, and it'd probably be like a red beam or something, I don't know. Ladybug versus Death Troopers, what happens? Ladybug kicks some undead ass. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. So, thank you for those questions, Nolan. Moving on now to Carlotta Studios, who asks, first question, so far, what has been your favorite Ladybug episode, and why? I guess Lady Wi-Fi is a pretty interesting one. It's made me love the character of Alia, because she's goddamn adorable, like she's waifu material right there. I think another one would be the Puppeteer episode. That's an interesting one because it brought back all the villains. Well, a majority of them. Dark Cupid was another one. A few here and there. Second question. If you ship Marinette Ladybug with Adrian Cat Noir, which variation of the ship is your favorite? You see, here's the weird thing I've never understood about, you guys. I've never understood about Ladybug shippers. Here's the big thing. What is it with you guys making 6 different ships out of the same 2 characters? It's the same person, just in different form. Are y'all just thirsty for a ship? Are y'all just thirsty for a shipping war? That you'll just, take 2 of the same characters and mix and match their personas? I don't know. I just ship Adrian and Marinette either as Ladybug or Cat Noir. When I say Catbug, that's what I call the ship, Catbug, not Lady Noir, because fuck yeah, Catbug. I mean it for all forms, That's kind of the point, Anyway. I mean, if you do that, that's totally fine, but I never understood it personally. Alright, third question. Off the top of your head, how do you think Ladybug would react to finding out Cat Noir's identity, and now do you think he would react to Ladybug revealing hers? And do you think that it will become canon? I think it would be when she realizes that she's been kissing, she's the one who kissed Adrian in Dark Cupid. She'd be like, oh my god, I kissed Adrian, and I've been fighting alongside him, I've been also calling him an idiot, what the fuck's wrong with me? And Cat Noir would be like, oh, this is awesome. So think of those questions, Carlotta Studios. It also looks like, no Stormhawk questions. All Ladybug. I think I found another thing that's going to make, that I'm going to get comments from you soon. So whenever I bring up Ladybug along with Stormhawks, that'll be like a duck call for Carlotta Studios. It'll be like, Stormhawks! Miraculous Ladybug! And then I just imagine her crawling out of the Woody Works. Sorry, Carlotta, it's just, I'm not making fun of you, it's just, I think it's just funny that, now I found 2 things that will attract your attention. Anyway, and so, next set of questions come from Andrew Varney, who asks, which incarnation of the Doctor would fit in this universe? I would say, Peter Davison Doctor. I would say Doctor number 5, because he dealt with a lot of 80s type weird stuff, and I feel like this is kind of weird enough as it is, that would have these kind of odd adventures with the 5th Doctor. If not him, I would say Sylvester McCoy's era Doctor. Anyway. Second question. Ladybug and friends visit Beach City and meet Steven and Connie. What happens? Steve would be like, I think your cat costume is awesome. So much leather. So much leather. Oh, man. Thank you for that question. Third question. Ladybug and Cat Noir react to the following. Phineas and Isabella, Kim and Ron, the main 6, Elsa from Frozen, Finn and Jake, Tommy Oliver, Jack Skellington, and the Crystal Gems, Peridot included. Well, I think I guess Peridot would try to find out the magic of the miraculous, whereas Kim and Ron, that would be a lot of fun to see. That's another crossover I think would be fun. Kim Possible and Ladybug would be another really excellent one. I should have put that up with the list up there. The main 6, I think, Fluttershy would be Cat Noir's spirit animal. Phineas and Isabella. I think it would be hilarious to see Phineas and Isabella talking with Cat Noir. No, Marinette. Yeah, Marinette and Isabella talking about, oh, so you have a really intelligent guy that you can't seem to get the attention of? Join the club, sister. Yeah. But anyway, thank you for those questions, Andrew. Moving on now to BB Metalhead. First question is, what are your predictions for Volpina/Lila's character moving forward in future seasons? I think she's going to be like have this weird feeling that she's going to be like a recurring villainess. She's going to be like a recurring henchman for Hawkmoth. That's what I'm kind of thinking. That's kind of the mindset I'm kind of rolling with right now. Is that she's going, because Hawkmoth said that, you haven't seen the last of Volpina, so I'm guessing she may be a recurring villain until we get the real Volpina. Alright. Second question. There's no denying the inspiration Miraculous Ladybug draws from Spider-Man. So how would you pitch a crossover between the two? Oh, this is a good question, because I've actually thought about this. I've actually thought about how would I do a Spider-Man Ladybug crossover. So here's what I'd do. I would have it that this would set in the time period when Peter Parker and Mary Jane are still married. And the story would be that Mary Jane has gotten a model shoot in Paris. And she's super excited because it's a exclusive French modeling company. And she goes there along with Peter. And I had this funny scene in my head where Peter runs into Marionette, where Peter and Mary Jane run into Alia and Marinette. And Alia's just freaking out because she's meeting Peter Parker, who she considers a hero, because it's like, oh my god, you're the only photographer that ever takes pictures of Spider-Man. And Peter Parker's eating it up like, oh my god, someone appreciates me as Peter Parker, not just Spider-Man. And for Marinette, she has her sketchbook with her, and Mary Jane says, oh, these are so cool, I hope one day I can wear these. So, that'd be a cute scene. However, when Mary Jane and Peter get to the shoot, he's like, I didn't need, the photographer's like, I don't need an American. Who needs you people? This and that, I don't need redheads. Turns out, we found somebody better than you, someone younger than you, and it just breaks Mary Jane, and Hawkmoth Evil Eyes, Akuma her, or Evil Eyes, whatever, and Spider-Man teams up with Cat Noir and Ladybug. While this is going on, mind you, there's the other story of Gabriel Agreste, Adrian's father, who's made a business deal with one Roderick Kingsley. If you know your Spider-Man, then you know which Spider-Man villain that is, who that really is. Anyway. So, there you go. Maybe I'd even have Black Cat in the story as well. Like, she's just there in France, and Spider-Man's like, what the hell are you doing here, Felicia? Anyway, so third question. While the show is fun, Ladybug gets repetitive. What is something you would like to add or change in order to keep the show from becoming redundant? Yeah, if it's one flaw they have is that, one, it's kind of like, it's very much like in some of the episodes of Code Lyoko, and a few other shows we all know, where it's like, oh, fight the monster, have a subplot involving the crush, rinse and repeat. And also, it's super goddamn and agonizing to be like, you're literally the same people. Just tell each other your secret identities, for fuck's sake. So I'd like to have, hopefully with Volpina, and maybe they'll change things up. Maybe they'll have more recurring villains rather than one and done. Oh my god, I forgot another villain design I really liked, and a villain in general, Stormy Weather. How did I forget Stormy? That was like the first episode I watched because I was like, that's a cool-ass villain. Anyway. So thank you for those questions, BB. Moving on now to Lydia, who asks, what would happen if Ladybug went out on the town with these heroes? What would happen? Sailor Moon, Rogue from X-Men, Amethyst from Steven Universe, Buttercup, Raven, and Star. Oh, it would be like The Hangover. It would totally be like The Hangover. Just all of them together would be like, hey, hey, where's Ladybug? We gotta find Ladybug. All right. Second question. Can a relationship between Ladybug and Cat Noir be written correctly, and if so, how would you get them together? I think there's a possibility without making it Olicity. See what I did there? I'm so schmert. I think what I would do is have that Ladybug is given a choice to say, like, there's actually a great comic, fan comic of an alternate scene between Volpina, trying to kill quote-unquote Adrian, which is an illusion. She gives up her Miraculous, and then Cat Noir reveals his identity as Adrian, and there's some great dialogue between the two. So I think I'd do something like that. What show or movie universes would make interesting crossovers for Ladybug? Like I already said, Spider-Man is my number one, and Kim Possible would be another one. If only to see Ron and Cat Noir hang out. Anyway, so moving on now to Alexander Anayas, who asks, what do you think of the Ladybug Cat Noir ship? I think it's super durable, but here's the problem. it is so goddamn agonizing. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it, but it is. We actually talked about this, Alex, where I said if I was to compare it to any ship, it would be confusing. It would be confusing and frustrating to maintain because while they're meant for each other, they don't realize it, and it's super annoying when they're like when Ladybug and Cat Noir are kind of bickering between each other, and you're like, God damn it, you love I freaking love that. I hate this show, but at the same time I love it. I'm having this weird conflicting feelings. I don't know what's wrong with me. So yeah, I like it, but at the same time it's frustrating, Second question. Since this takes place in Paris, what do you think would happen if Ladybug and Cat Noir had to fight Xana? Oh, that'd be great. I would love to see Code Lyoko and Ladybug crossover. In fact, is there a fanfiction of that? I looked on fanfiction.net and I didn't see a Code Lyoko crossover, and I'm like, that's perfect setting! That's a perfect setting right there! What the hell? So, yeah, you're talking about a being that can literally jump in and possess anybody. So, it would be like Hawkmoth, but at the same time, it wouldn't be as easily as de-evilizing them, you know what I'm saying? Anyway. Third question. Rick meets Ladybug and Cat Noir. How fucked up shit would he say to traumatize them? So, you dating or fucking? I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're wearing leotards and leather. It just screams, hey, I'm doing it in the butt. I can't do Rick, so that's my best Rick voice. But yeah, he would just say some awful, demeaning things to these poor kids. Anyway. Thank you for those questions, Alex. Moving on now to Ron Mystics01, who asks, have you seen the 2D anime Ladybug short? And if so, what do you think of 2D Marinette and Felix? 2D Cat Noir. Yeah, for those who don't know, there was an anime OVA, like an anime pilot, because this was originally meant to be more like an anime in the vein of Sailor Moon. However, there wasn't exactly the great animation budget for it. So, yeah. Also, Adrian was supposed to be called Felix, and supposed to be something equivalent to Edward Cullen, which I'm glad he's not. So, I liked it, but I do like the change they did to Felix and making him Adrian, so thank God for that. I don't need a cat version of Edward Cullen. Are you Ladybug trash? No, but I'm getting there. Third question. What's your opinion on there being 4 ships with the 2 characters in the show? Like flirty Lady Noir, adorable Adrianette, the awkward Lady Rin, and the sin known as Marichat. See, I'm confused. It's all the same goddamn person. Like I said earlier, are y'all just thirsty for a shipping war that you'll just take variations of the same 2 characters? What's going on here, guys? Come on. I mean, I don't mean to sound like a dick, but I'm just confused. I just want to understand. That's what I want to know. Anyway, so moving right along. So next up we have the Omnitron12345, who asks, Nightwing and Starfire meet Ladybug and Cat Noir while in Paris investigating sightings of the Fearsome Five. What happens? That'd be really fun, because I feel like they would be total, Ladybug and Cat Noir would be total superhero fanboys. That would just be nothing short of great, Also, evilized Fearsome Five seems terrifying. Second question. What would happen if all their villains managed to come back as in actually not so good people who actually became evilized, or like rogues or the Sinister Six scenario? They kind of did that with the Puppeteer episode, but still they were all under control of one person. If they could come back on their own free will, I think that would be a lot of fun, because this show kind of needs recurring villains rather than one dude. I mean, Xana got away with it because they found out, there was a mystery behind Xana, you know what I mean? Anyway. Third question. Since almost all powers come from magic in their universe, how do you think Adrian and Marinette would react to someone like Superman or Spider-Man who have powers but aren't magical? I think they would be like, you got your powers from science, we get it from magic, fuck you. Anyway. So, moving on now to MB Free, who asks, first question, since this show is in Paris, Ladybug and Cat Noir meet Sly Cooper, what happens? They'd be like, holy shit, a anthropomorphic raccoon, because it's an anthropomorphic raccoon. I mean, I know the game's in another. I've never played Sly Cooper, but I know it's in Paris. But in a different version of Paris. You know what I mean? So, second question: Ladybug and Cat Noir meet Batman and Katana from Beware the Batman. What villains do they face? Evil Eye's version of Anarchy. Absolutely. Third question: How do Ladybug and Cat Noir react to meeting the 2013 version of Max Steel? I think Cat Noir would be like, if I had a... oh, sure, you get the cool shit. All I get is leather and a bow staff. So think of those questions at MB. Moving on now to Ridley Curade, hope I'm saying that name right, who asks, do you think there's something up with Alex's watch? I already answered that question. Yeah, I think there's more to that watch. Second question. What Akuma powers would you give Amethyst, Jasper, Buttercup, Morbucks, Tack, Janna from Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Peepers, Mabel, Stanley, and where would their Akuma be? I don't know where, what powers I would give evilized characters and what they would become. Because I already have powers. Maybe their powers would just be doubled for some cases, but some like Mabel, Peepers, and Stanley and others, I don't know. That's too many to count. We'd be here all day, but yeah. Where would their Akumas be? For the gems, I think I would put it in their weapons, like Jasper's helmet and Amethyst's whip. Buttercup, it would be in her, I guess, uniform. Morbucks would be in her tiara. Janna would be in her beanie. Peepers, it would be in his helmet. Tack, it would be, I think, like Mimi. Yeah, Mimi would be her would be that one. Mabel, it would be in her sweater. It would be in Stan's fez. And, yeah, there you go. Third question, what do you think of Hawkmoth's backstory? Do you think he's Adrian's dad? Yeah, I'm pretty goddamn sure, along with everybody else, that that's in fact Adrian's dad, because in the Origin episode, you see a exact image of Adrian's mom in his locket. So yeah, I think it's just blaring at this point. Yeah, he's Hawkmoth, but the question remains, how did he become Hawkmoth, and how did he find out about the Miraculous, you know? So, that's the big question. It's very much like what I was talking about in the Flash Q&A where, oh yeah, we kind of figured out already that Hawkmoth is, that Eobard Thawne, Harrison Wells is Eobard Thawne, but we don't know how he got there, and then we found out the mystery behind that and was like, oh, okay, uh-oh. Alright. So, moving right along to Bryce Diaz, who asks, what would the Code Lyoko gang think of Ladybug and Cat Noir? Well, I think Aelita would be like, wow, actual superheroes, and same with Odd, while Ulrich and Yumi and Jeremy are just like, fuck these people. We're actually busting our asses to save the world. They're just trying to save one city. Yeah. I knew someone was going to ask me this question. Oh, boy. Oh boy. Who's worse, Chloe or Robbie? Robbie, so here's how it kind of is. Robbie, I want to, kneecap. I want to kneecap him and then blow his brains out. That's how much I hate that character. Chloe, on the other hand, is a totally different kind of bitch. I just want to fucking strangle the life out of her, and like her eyes are bulging out, and she's like smacking me as I'm holding her down, holding my hand around her throat, and she's gagging and screaming for God and her father, but they're not there. She's struggling for breath. Her eyes are bulging out. She's crying, and I'm just putting my thumb down on the center of her throat because that's where a lot of the airway comes from. Yeah, my brother taught me that move. Our Army sure knows how to kill people, don't they? So, and then there's tears welling up, and I'm like, just fucking do it. I'm enjoying every second of it until, yeah, she's done. And I'm looking down, and I'm just like, God damn. Oh. I think I need to work out some demons, guys. I think I really hate this character. I think I found a character that I hate more than Robbie. I know it's weird, but think about it. If it weren't for this blonde cunt, there wouldn't be nearly half the villains wouldn't be in this show. She's literally making more than enough of the villains in this series, and she's a total bitch. I mean, with with other rich girl characters, like Pacifica's a great one. Yeah, she's a bitch, but then you understand the backstory behind that, and at the same time, at this one, it's like, no. Why would anyone be your friend? Really? And then her father's equally worse. I know he's the mayor of Paris, but half the shit he does to spoil his daughter, that would, if you're a mayor, let alone the mayor of goddamn Paris, one of the biggest cities in the world and one of the most recognized cities, and if they found out you pulled shit like this, your ass would not get voted in. I don't know how he got voted in another time. I guess the other guy was a total shithead. That's all I can think of. But no, you would get, your ass would be kicked out. Anyway, so I fucking hate Chloe. I think I fucking hate Chloe more than I fucking hate Robbie. Anyway. Third question. Do you think we will see Hawkmoth in action, and how? Or could he turn Ladybug and Chat evil? Oh, okay. Good question. That's actually been a fan theory for a lot of people throughout the series. Could that happen? I think it's a possibility, and I kind of have this weird feeling that when we see Hawkmoth fight, he's going to kick some serious ass. Anyway, so think of those questions, Bryce. Moving on now to Cody Bradish, who asks, what would Ladybug and Cat Noir think of the 10th Doctor, Ninja Turtles, Danny Phantom, Teen Titans, Code Lyoko, Flash, Kim Possible, Ron Stoppable, Tommy, and Deadpool? God, I need to make a new rule for these kind of, just grouped together, what would they think kind of things. I don't mean to be mean or anything, but I just... I got so many questions, and people just rope these all together. I don't mean to be mean or anything, but yeah, there's some points where it's just like, come on, I can't think of all these different what would they think of right off the fly. Like I said, with Kim Possible, that would be fun. Tommy, it would just be great to see him train the other two. Deadpool would just annoy them. The Teen Titans, Code Lyoko gang I already talked about. The Doctor, I'd like to see him get a hold of that watch, honestly. But yeah, just fun all around. Second question, do you think the series has the potential of becoming a big-time franchise? I think it does. I really do think it has. It's taken, seriously, it's big here in America, but in its home country, it's actually even bigger, apparently. I'm still a little sketchy on the logistics there, but it's taken France by storm. Because, yeah, they they actually have a French superhero over there. And yeah, Marvel and DC have had French superheroes and villains come out of, the country, but they've never been really iconic. Now they actually have some, and there have been French animated heroes before, but I think these are relatable characters that people can get behind. And yeah, there's actually a toy franchise apparently behind it in France, so yeah, I think it has the potential to be big, very big. Third question, how would you write a Equestria Girls Ladybug crossover? Maybe have it that the Equestria Girls are in France. There has to be a France there, not called Prance, but yeah, there has to be a France. Yeah, there's a they take a feel like a student exchange thing to France, and they one of them gets bummed out and evilized, and hilarity ensues. That's all I can think of. So think of those questions, Cody. Moving on now to George Podilio. Hope I'm saying that name right. And he asks, I'm doing a fan art cartoon with Digimon. And what partner would you be with Ladybug and Cat Noir? Maybe for fun, since Cat Noir is all has the black leather and stuff, and he's a nighttime animal. How about Demi Devamon as his Digimon? And for Ladybug, Tentomon. There you go. Keep it in the bug stuff. Second question. Same as the first, but Yu-Gi-Oh deck, etc. Randy Cunningham as a ninja monster with him. Alright. For Adrian, I could see his cards would be warrior themed. I could see a warrior theme or beast warrior type deck. And for Ladybug, insect type. Gotta keep in check with the bug stuff. Alright, moving on now to Burnouter7, who asks, can you see Marinette and Rarity getting along? Absolutely. Talking about fashion and, yeah, I think their love of fashion would really connect to each other. And I would just imagine Spike and Cat going, oh man, they just won't stop. Second question. What would Ladybug and Chat Noir think of Fantastic Four, Randy Cunningham, El Tigre, Danny Phantom, Cloak and Dagger, and Invincible? Well, I think Randy and Chat would be BFFs. Same with Danny. Cloak and Dagger, I think it would be a lot of fun to be like, oh, so you're a young couple who got amazing powers and now you fight crime? That sounds very close to what we are. Alright. Third question. Can you think of any crossover pairings for Ladybug and Cat Noir? I don't know. That cat bug shit though. I don't know. I don't know if I could think of anybody because that cat bug ship. I can't. I ship it too hard. It frustrates me, but I can't. I ship it too hard. So anyway, thank you for those questions, Burnout. Moving on now to Wolfman the Impaler, who asks, if you could create a villain not connected for Hawkmoth for Ladybug and Cat Noir, what kind of villain would he, she, it be? Another Force After the Miraculous, or Mob Boss, or Mad Scientist? I think I would go for like a being that hunts down, like it's a hunt, like he's an immortal hunter who hunts down anyone who bears the miraculous. Like he's been cursed to be forever tied to the bearers of the miraculous. Like he was some warlord who was defeated by all the miraculous who banded together, and now he's hunting down anyone, whether it be good or evil, who bears a kami or kwami, whatever the fuck they call it, and he proceeds to hunt them down. Something like that. Second question. Cat Noir and Ladybug meet Team What the Fuck. Peridot, Strax, Triceracop, and a Bridge Nappa. What happens? They try to get away from this little team as soon as possible. Third question. What the following this show is getting, do you think we could see the return of straight-up action cartoons anytime soon? I think so. I think that, there should be a resurgence of the action-themed cartoons, and apparently the creative team behind Ladybug is now creating a new show called Phantom Force, which actually looks like exactly like Ladybug, but a little bit of Danny Phantom thrown in, which I'm cool with. I mean, imitation's the best form of flattery, and it looks cool. It looks interesting. If anything, it actually kind of look more like Power Rangers if it went with Ghost. Danny Phantom and Power Rangers. That's the better look. Anyway, so I think it's a possibility. But anyway, thank you for those questions, Wolfman. Moving on now to Nicholas Harley. What is Miraculous Ladybug all about? Ladybug, how do I explain this? Ladybug is about a show where a young girl and a young boy the young girl has a crush on the boy, but he has a crush on the superhero, but she's the superhero and he doesn't know it. It's really confusing. And they have magical powers that fight evil in Paris. That's the best I can give you. Actually, no, the better version is it's Spider-Man mixed with Sailor Moon. That is the best form I could give you. That is the best explanation I could give you. Second question. Ladybug and Machiko and Hachin, how would you do it? Maybe Machiko and Hachin are hiding out in Paris and they come across Ladybug. That's all I got. Third question. What would happen if Ladybug met John Cena, you yourself, DPZ, Dan from Street Fighter, and Hercule from DBZ? I would get away from these other idiots and try to enjoy Paris. Yeah. So, thank you for those questions, Nicholas. Moving on now to Shockwave Spider, who asks, do you like Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir series just as much as the 2012 TMNT cartoon or better? I like it. I don't know if I would like it more than Ninja Turtles, but I enjoy it. Second question. What is your favorite villain in the series so far? Stormy Weather. villain, a villain with storm powers. Fuck yeah, and a few others. Third villain. Third question. That. Which villain in the series do you consider Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir's arch enemies? I guess Hawkmoth, because the other ones are just one and dones. So, thank you for those questions. Moving on now to Pseudo Aku 283, who asks, Lady Wi-Fi versus Technus, who wins? I'm going to give it to Technus because he has a lot more. She just has control over the internet. He has control over all things involving technology. So, I'm going to give it to him on that one. Second question. In the intro, there are a bunch of other small glowing beings flying alongside Tiki and Plag into the box thing. Who do you think they belong to, and why do you think we've never seen them? I think the reason why we haven't seen them yet, because I think they're going to introduce them systematically for the other seasons. I think the first season was just to show off these new characters and, eventually get into the bigger mystery. You know what I mean? So I think we are going to see them soon. Third question. Any Wander Over Yonder, Gravity Falls, Star vs. the Force of Evil, Steven Universe, or Rick and Morty characters could you see falling victim to Hawkmoth's Akumas? Oh, a bunch. Hater, Peepers would be Hater and Peepers, Dipper, Mabel, Stanley, Seuss, Wendy, all of the main cast, Star and Marco, and Jana as well as Brittany. Rick and Morty would both be it, and Summer as well, and Steven I don't know, but Peridot and Amethyst and Pearl would all get caught up in it, maybe even Connie. So there you go. So thank you for those questions. Moving on now to Matt Kaiser08, who asks, if Ladybug was in Death Battle, which 5 characters would you have as her opponent? Star, Sailor Moon, Kim Possible, Spider-Man, no, not Spider-Man, Spider-Girl, Mayday Parker, and finally, Sakura from Card Captors. There you go. Second question, Ladybug Gamera crossover, how would you write it? Maybe have it that a construction team has accidentally unleashed Gauss, and Gamera comes to save the day. Alright, third question. What new enemy would you like for... I already answered this one, so sorry about that, Matt. But thank you for those questions regardless. And moving on now to Andre Partridge, who asks, what would Catwoman and Black Cat think of Cat Noir? They would literally be like, you fucking cheat. You ripped us off. What motherfuck? You... No. Fuck you. Dr. Dragon and Shigo versus Ladybug. What happens? Shigo kicks Ladybug's ass while Dr. Dragon laughs his ass off about it. Ladybug's good, but she ain't Shigo level good yet. And I already answered favorite villain, so thank you for those questions. And Andre, moving on now to Christopher Rosa, who asks, first question, I'm interested on your thoughts on the most disliked character in the show, Chloe. I admit the character... Oh, he's asking what are my thoughts on Chloe. I hate her. Fucking hate her. I think I've made that clear already. But who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us with an interesting character arc. Who knows? I mean, even Sissy from Code Lyoko, as a big as a bitch she was, she got some interesting character development in a lot of the show. Even at the end, she became kind of like an ally in a weird kind of way. But yeah. I hate that. Until they do something different, I hate that fucking bitch. Second question. What do you think would happen if Ladybug and Cat Noir joined the team of Young Justice, and which team do you think they should join, the 2010 one or the 2016 one? I'd say the 2016 one, because that seems more like a closer-knit, stronger team. The 2010 team seemed like a... like it was still working on the growing pains, you know what I mean? Third question. Which teen or kid cartoon could you most likely be friends with Ladybug and Cat Noir? Kim and Ron from Kim Possible, and Connie and Steven from Steven Universe. Anyway, Thank you for those questions, Christopher Rosa. Moving on now to the Grey Goblin, who asked, Ladybug versus the Sinister Six. Who wins? Sinister Six. She hasn't exactly gotten the experience to take on all six of them by herself, let alone with Cat Noir's help. So, second question. Cat Noir and Ladybug meet TMNT and Gem and the Holograms from IDW Comics. What happens? Shenanigans. Lots of shenanigans. Third question. Ladybug and Cat Noir have to handle a gremlin infestation. How can they stop them? Lucky Charm and a lot of bright light. So thank you for those questions, Grey Goblin. Moving on now to Tyler Carter, who asks, what is this show? Like I already said earlier, it's the best way I can describe it is Spider-Man meets Sailor Moon. So thank you for that question. Moving on now to Becky Love, who asks, any good crossover ideas? Like I said, Spider-Man Ladybug. How do you think they'll bring Lila back? I think she's going to be a recurring... I think Lila's going to be a recurring character throughout the series, and maybe she'll become Volpina multiple times. Who knows? Like I said, maybe she'll become a recurring henchman. Who knows? Third question. Who do you think the freaking Peacock Miraculous belongs to? I know there's a theory of the Peacock Miraculous once belonging to Adrian's mother, but I think it may have passed on to somebody else. Maybe it'll be a new character? Who knows? So think of those questions, Becky. Moving on now to Bryce Cornelius, who asks, what would you like to see in Season 2? I'm kind of done with one-and-done villains. Maybe have it that Hawkmoth has found a way to keep the Akumas inside the villains, and they all serve him, but they can go off and do their own things. Maybe something like that. Second question. What do you think Ladybug and Cat Noir listen to in their free time? Marinette strikes me as a pop kind of girl. I think she would enjoy a lot of pop, but I can also see her enjoying something like Timberland or Mumford & Sons. Seems like a Mumford & Sons fan to me. For Adrian, I would say something a little more techno. Like, he seems like a techno kind of guy, and maybe some Linkin Park. He'd probably be, thanks to his father, he'd be cranking out Numb all the time. I'm just saying. Second question, what do you think Oh wait, that was the second question. Third question, what do you love best about the show? Finally, you have an action cartoon that doesn't need to be a comedy show first and then action cartoon. It can be its own thing. Yes, finally, a straight-up action cartoon. When was the last time we saw those? Give you an answer. A long-ass time. Saying with those questions, Bryce, moving on now to Sora versus Ka, who asks, which incarnation of the Doctor would Marionette be a companion to? Fifth Doctor. I think those two would get along. Second question, what if Dr. Octopus was one of Ladybug's villains? Then she would get her ass kicked backwards because, yeah, that guy does not play. Third question, what if the Music Meister from Batman Brave and the Bold was a villain on Miraculous Ladybug? Oh, I would love the musical numbers for all of them. So thank you for those questions, Sora versus Ka. Moving on now to Travis Rendon, who asks, do you think the main villain is Cat Noir's dad? Yep. Moving on. Second question, should there be a third hero team with Ladybug and Cat Noir, and if so, who? I don't know, but it would be another Miraculous, and I think they're good as a team. I would like this third hero, if they do get a third hero on the team, to be kind of like like he occasionally helps. Like he's kind of like the anti-hero. Like he has his own reasons for saving Paris, or something like that. Kind of like a Tommy Oliver kind of guy. Or actually put Ken from Digimon Season 2. That'd be the better one. Okay. Yeah, that was all the questions. Oh wait, the third one. If you were in the Ladybug world and you would tell our two heroes who they really are, point out the obvious for them. Yeah, I would. I would totally do that. Alright. Moving right along to One of None, who asks, Hawkmoth teams up with the Sirens and Ladybug, and Cat Noir must team up with Sunset and the gang. How would you do it? I think maybe he evilizes them and then uses their voice to mind control everyone to find out who has the Miraculous, something like that. Do you think Hawkmoth is Shat's uncle? No, I'm pretty sure at this point. I'm 99.9% sure that it's his dad. If the Miraculous was in the Equestria Girls, who would be Ladybug and Hawkmoth? And I guess Cat Noir too. I guess Sunset would be Ladybug and Hawkmoth would be played by Adagio? Something like that. So anyway, think of those questions. Moving on now to Robo Kaiju, who asks, if you could create your own Miraculous Ladybug villain... Already answered this one. What would Catwoman think of Cat Noir? Again, already answered this one. Sorry about that. But your third question I can answer. How would you do a Sailor Moon Ladybug crossover where Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask meet Ladybug and Cat Noir? Okay, I think how I would do this is have it that Sailor Venus has obviously she was a model and singer at one point, so she's taken the group of her friends with her to go on have a fun time in Paris while she does a modeling shoot, and they run into trouble when Queen Beryl has made an alliance with Hawkmoth that's saying that, oh, you help me destroy the princess, I'll help you get that Miraculous, and wackiness ensues. I want to see all the weird puns Tuxedo Mask and Cat Noir would come up with. I would love to see that. But anyway, so yeah, that looks like all the questions. Once again, I want to thank everybody who did send in questions. And again, I am relieved that Max is still with us, so thank God for that. Anyway, so once again, hope you all enjoyed this Q&A, and I will see you guys later.